What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm over here at the Kubota dealership getting some stuff out of service. Don't have DEF fluid. Step blue, you don't want DEF fluid on a mulching machine. Not super ideal. I am a massive fan of Kubota gear. Had a bunch of them like for 2 decades now, from like lawnmowers to all sorts of things. And lately I've had this one. This is a 74 horsepower tractor. A buddy of mine who has like 25 plus tractors, Nick's Snow and Mow up in Canada, told me when I was like just figuring out, like I just was getting like into my first tractor. He's like, dude, 35 to 50 horsepower is like absolutely ideal. And he's totally right. That one's 75. I had a 25 horsepower guy. I had a little had one of these. Sun might be rough to see it, but I had one of the TLB like 26s or whatever. That was a good machine. I just need something a little bit bigger. I didn't need the backhoe as much. I use a lot of the excavators when I need them. But I recommend like Kubota for a couple reasons. Like, one, you can get all of your lineup through Kubota. So I mean, they've got like all the way up to this guy. I mean, this is essentially this would be like a Cat 308, same size machine. It's a big boy. It's gooseneck collar or like, you know, pay for transport type of deal. You can get wheel loaders, you can get lawnmowers. You know, you can get everything from like, you know, the littlest lawnmower all the way up to essentially like that would be their biggest machine. Now there is a point where I say this with my guys. I'm like, it's not if you're gonna go cat, it's when you're gonna go cat. And I know you guys out in the Midwest, you guys like your John Deeres, and I get it. Caterpillar in our area is kind of like, if you're doing like big stuff, Caterpillar is that spot like where they've got you. Like they definitely got you. But the unique thing about Kubota, I really love this R430. This is like one of my new, like I've been looking for one of these. I can't really justify it yet, but I really like that unit. But I can't say that this is always the right thing to do, but the thing about Kubota is it is a Japanese company. They build in America. That's kind of the Japanese model, is like build them where you sell them, but they finance them at like Japanese levels, which is almost no interest. So it's an interesting proposition. Now, like if you buy it cash, you're gonna get some money off the machine. So it's never 0% interest. It's never 1% interest. It's always like you're gonna pay a couple grand for the privilege, and if you really run the math out, you know, thing. However, at this point in time, having a Kubota credit account, being that they are way behind on interest rates, in my opinion, is something to think about. I'm not promoting. I'm not saying like, oh, go out there, finance everything out that you can, grab all your gear. I'm just putting it out there that in a world where these things are going to probably continue to appreciate in price, it's possible we could have demand destruction. It's possible we could be in a recession. It's possible it could be like 08, 09, where you're like running through the auction block and like, here comes a new skid steer, like 500 hours on it, like 15 grand. You know, like it's possible, but it doesn't really seem likely. Not that we're not in recession, like we are clearly in recession, but it doesn't mean prices have to come down. Actually, you can be like in 1970s stagflation, where prices actually continue to go up, inflation continues to go up, and unemployment continues to go down. Now, we're in a weird situation where we have a labor deficit, and that's not changing until like it peaks in 2034. Here's the quick and dirty numbers on it. We have a deficit of laborers, meaning baby boomers are leaving the workforce every year, and Gen Zers are replacing them, and we have a deficit this year of 400,000 workers. Next year, it'll be another 400,000 workers. That will continue until it reaches a peak of 900,000 workers in 2034. So for this period of history, like labor is gonna see, it's gonna be a good place to be. Like as far as like workers, like the average guy, his skill set, if he has it, he's built it, is gonna be in demand just because there's gonna be a shortage of workers in the US. So labor might be like, we might see an area where it's full employment, but we also might see this continuation of like the breakdown of globalism, meaning that the steel to make this tractor, the rubber to make this tractor, the chips and the semiconductors to make this tractor, like the parts to make this thing that were globally sourced before are now gonna have to be sourced from America, from Mexico, from Canada. Like, you know, likewise, if you're over in the EU, it's gonna have to be more locally sourced. Like the idea that we're gonna like ship these things and like, you know, wait on container ships, or that these factories are gonna be open, or if you're in Shanghai, the place hasn't even been open for a couple months. So that's gonna cause supply issues, and supply issues causes price spikes, and price spikes mean that the cost of this particular machine may go from say like X to X plus 15%, to X plus 15%, additionally the second year, and et cetera, et cetera. So the asset might be, and I'm not promoting like go out there and finance everything up, but I am promoting that if you are solid in your business setup, if you're like, you know, okay, I'm gonna be in this industry for the next 10, 20 years, I'm gonna buy a new machine and time it out, now might be that spot, if you've got the cash flows and you've got the savings, to consider the fact that the inflation rate our government is telling us is 9.1. I don't believe them. I mean, these people have lied to me my entire life. But the interest rate on these machines, this one is 0.9. Like, that's kind of ridiculous. Okay, essentially, like, you're whooping inflation. So in theory, if you're able to charge more and more for your prices, what you're paying down on that machine is going to be worth less and less. I'm not saying it's the right move for everybody. I'm not saying I'm doing it. All right, like, I'm pretty set in the equipment I've got right now. But I have thought through, like, is there anything I gotta have right now? Because now might be the time to get it. Because when those interest rates start to rise, when you get into your second year of inflation, your third year of inflation, well, that 1.9 or that 0.9, it starts to become 3.9, 5.9, 7.9, 10.9. And you know, the game is essentially like over. But at this point in time, it's possible that you may be able to buy a machine like one of these guys and get the benefit of the inflation, provided that you have the cash flows, you have the job demand, you've got the project demand to optimize it. So, you know, it's just an idea. I coach with guys. There's a link below for coaching. I get on the phone with guys all the time, all different situations. It totally depends on your situation. I'm gonna wrap it with this. If you are in the lawn care industry, you're starting out, you wanna get into equipment, one of my favorite things, I know this isn't super popular, but this thing has a belly mower to it, and I have always thought, like, when you look at the cost of a zero-turn mower versus like one of these, yeah, it costs a little bit more, but like the functionality of this, plus this comes off really quickly, the loader comes off really quickly, the backhoe comes off really quickly. Now you got the belly mower on it. You got, like, you know, 26 horsepower diesel. I don't know. Like, I've always liked it, especially when a zero turns like 12 to 14 grand and this thing's like 20, 24 grand. Like, I don't know, like, if you know, it's like I can replace a lot of labor, and like, it really, if I was trying to be a landscaper and I was really trying to, like, you know, maximize on like the fact that I could have lawn care service, I could do some landscape, like light landscape install. I wouldn't necessarily need to hire employees right out the get, or I might only need to be able to hire one and be able to move heavy things. It's just an idea. But so I hope you guys appreciated that, or hope you got some value out of that. I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts? Because the wisdom of crowds really is the thing. I want to know from you guys. What do you guys think about, like, the inflation versus what you could finance for, what you could lock in for? You think it's good? Do you think it's wise? Do you think that maybe it'll be way more gnarly, and guys that are not completely paid for, cashed out, might be in a bad situation? I think that that's a possibility too. And if you did have the cash for the machine and you were going to go buy it, would you give up your cash for the machine, or would you elect to finance it and hold on to your cash? That might be a strategy for some of you guys as well, because I don't promote like buying things that you can't write checks for. So anyway, guys, let me know in the comments what you think, and I'll see you down there. Peace.